This is the gas meter. It's in the southeast corner of the property. The structure faces west for the purpose of this inspection report. So this is the back alley. That's where the meter was. And this is the back. This is the back of the house. I would like to call your attention to this for a minute. It's a gable roof, dark shingles. You see that whirlybird up there turning? You see that whirlybird up there turning? It's windy and warm. They should be spinning. They're doing their jobs. See this one up here? He's not turning. That guy's not functioning properly. Another thing I'd like to call your attention to is that is a water heater. No, actually that's a furnace. That's the furnace flue stack. And you see the rust coming underneath that? See the rust on the roof? That means that your furnace, probably your heat exchanger, is rusting like that. Now we have a recent installation for the cooling system, so that might not be the case. Might not be the case. But at one time, the furnace was rusting. Spilling rust. Okay, we've got some loose brick around the chimney ground, and we do not have a chimney cap. When this structure was built, chimney caps were not required. But it's a common requirement today. Coming along here, that's called a urban compass, or otherwise known as a satellite dish, because they're usually pointing south. I've never seen one installed properly. That one's not installed properly. The only place you're going to see it installed properly is on the instructions that are going to be baked into the inspection report. This is a condensing unit. It's a pane. It's 3 tons. 4 tons, 4 tons, 3 years old. It's slightly underfused. The manufacturer recommends 35. The manufacturer specifies between 25 and 35, and we have a 30 amp breaker in there. It's not sitting on its foundation pad properly, and it's not elevated a minimum of 3 inches above grade. These are the refrigerant line. That larger one, that's your low pressure refrigerant line, and they should be insulated. And then the insulation we have, since 2015, this unit's only 3 years old. But this foam is no longer acceptable. It's supposed to be rigid. It's supposed to have a rigid foam on there, so it's the wrong kind of foam and we're missing foam. It's not 3 inches off the ground. Coming along, this is the electric service disconnect. Right here. Looks like it's pretty much wired right. I got a still image of it I'm going to study. Can't get my big head back there. But it looks like it's probably done okay. It's supposed to be sealed on 3 sides, the top and the sides, to help prevent moisture infiltration from entering the walls. I can go ahead and put this back now. This set already collected a still image. Coming along here, I couldn't get the water pressure at the front of the house. I'll show you in a little bit. But these water valves, they do not have anti-siphon devices on them. This one's not insulated or supported. See how it moves around like that? And then, let's try this. We got about 70 psi, which is about ideal. Good to know. Alright, the windows have been updated at some point. They're not updated now. Double pane vinyl frame. Your main electric service panels on the exterior of the house. And like the disconnect, it should be sealed on 3 sides. The meter should be sealed on 3 sides. Power to the house. What have we got in here? Nothing too much exciting, to be honest. What we got? Actually, this looks like it's the air conditioner because it's got the white cord. It looks like it might be overfused. I'm going to call it overfused, unless that picture shows me something else. It's 150 amps. Neutral's labeled white. We should have little rubber booties on here, little plastic booties to keep somebody from reaching in there and grabbing a dose of electricity. If you don't know that's hot, you don't belong in there, but you're supposed to have it, just like the white wire is wrapped with black tape. So, other than that, oh, the bonding location should be labeled. And we do have two grounds like we're supposed to. That's pretty good. I don't see that very often. Another thing is that it's not properly labeled. You should have duplicity, and it should not be handwritten. So, we got a backyard. What is this? Dangling. What are you dangling on? You're just dangling. Look at that. See that? Got an NM cable coming down. You got a little bit of conduit to add some strength, I suppose. It's kind of weird. Let's just snug up in here and see what we can find. No GFCI. No GFCI in an unsecured junction box. Around the fireplace, all that flashing, that's supposed to be smoothed down, real smooth. Real smooth. Wind-driven rain. And then coming along here, the storm collar on the weather mast for the electrical. He's got a nice big gap on him. And then the drip loop. I might be able to tell when I get a ladder next to this. I'm not going to walk this. I might be able to tell. That drip loop doesn't look like it's quite... Where am I? That drip loop doesn't look like it's quite sufficient. Let me come over here. This is real common. You probably never have a problem with it. Doesn't make it right. That's what I'm here for. Okay, you see the shingles? See the fascia? That little freeze board underneath there, right there. That metal flashing. That drip edge flashing. Sometimes it's rake, but that edge flashing is supposed to be lapped a minimum of 10 inches. That's per manufacturer. You're hardly ever going to see it. That's what's supposed to happen. And that's why I'm here. This is the fireplace clean out. It's low enough, high enough. I don't know if the camera will adjust. I've got a still image of that. Coming along here, we're on the patio. Hang on, let me drop you. Oh, I'll catch you. I don't let you go. I don't let you go. Special effects. So we're coming along here. I know I saw one. I know I saw several. Come on, oh, there we go. I was a little too close to the house. Sometimes they hide on you. Sometimes they hide on you. But that's what's known as a drill hole. The only reason to really put a drill hole in your flat work like this is because you're applying product, which is code word for poison. And you put poison in there for subterranean termites. There's no other animal you would treat in that fashion. So we know this structure has been treated at least once. We know it's been treated for subterranean termites. We don't know when it was treated, and we don't know who treated it, and we do not know what it was treated with. This is a hole in your wall right here. Not so bad if you've got a dog, but if you don't have a dog, it's a hole in your wall. And then a hole in your fence for the dog. It's kind of nice. Flat work like driveways is beyond the scope of this inspection, but this tree is moving this part of the driveway quite a bit. So just kind of heads up on that. We're coming in. I hope that's not the clothes dryer vent. Sure looks like it. Well, no, I don't know what it is, but whatever vent that is full of paper wasps. Still looks like it's a clothes dryer vent. Coming along, we're in the garage. Still, house is facing west. So this is the kitchen. Right here with little bulges and the kitchen clean out. We got iron drains, heads up. And then there's the water supply lines right there. The garage is considered the exterior, so those water lines should be insulated. Put this back where I found it. Any door between the living space and the garage, it should have a self-closing spring. The door should swing closed on its own accord. So if there's a fire in here, it won't walk into here. So we're coming over here. These are the door opener control buttons. They don't look like they're illuminated. They're too close to the ground. Not supposed to be that close to the floor. Little hands can come up here and mess with them. So the safety reverse works pretty good on those. You can see the courtesy light does not work. Oh, there it goes. We got courtesy lights. Got ahead of myself. I do that. The orientation, they have these numbered because the orientation is a little reverse of what you would imagine. Both of these doors have pull handles. That's a good thing. Both of these doors have warning notices. That's a good thing. Both of these doors have spring tension notices. That's a good thing. The optic sensors are higher than 6 inches from the floor on both of these doors. That's not so good of a thing. The control wires, these staples on the control wires are supposed to be insulated. That's not so much of a good thing. These door locks are supposed to be decommissioned so that you put a screw in there or what, so that you don't come home and lock the door and then your significant other comes home and pushes the button in the driveway and the door gets all cattywampus and ruined and now you got a domestic issue. So we just try to keep those to a minimum. Obviously, there's a lot of storage here. Okay, that's going to limit the observations. It's just there's no way I'm going to get back there. I'm just grateful that that's their electric service panels, but not back there, or the water heater for that matter. We got some movement over here on the ceilings. Some movement, and we got some repairs. It looks like, repair like that. That's all squared in. That was probably a moisture issue. Maybe we got a bathroom above us or something. I haven't gotten that far into the inspection. So that pretty much covers the garage. You see that right there? See the way that the texture is kind of peeled back, and you see the sheetrock right there? That could be moisture, but the way that's trailing off, you probably had termites here. And you have plumbing here. So at one time the house has been treated. And this isn't a termite inspection. It's beyond the scope. It's beyond the scope. Okay, we should have a warning notice right here like we had on the doors. Of course, I already mentioned that it's too low. Oh, and they are illuminated. So I apologize. They're illuminated. Yay! No! Told you. We're going to flip through the house real quick. Wooden floors. Garage door closed. Zoom back over here. Pick up where we left off. Dog door. This is what the car doors, the overhead car entry doors look like. This is what they look like when they're closed. They look like they're in pretty good shape. This door casement, okay, it should not be in direct contact with the sidewalk, with the driveway. There's supposed to be a gap underneath there so that we do not have capillary action, allowing water to pull up in there and rot. Coming along, there's lots of rodent, there's lots of, what do you call that? Z-Clean rodent bait stations. Lots of them, every corner, every side of the house is one. Coming along, more. This is the garage. Okay, house is facing west, so this is the north side of the garage. We got some nice stair-step cracks through the brick and mortar right here. Looks like it's been repaired at least once. And when you see humps like this, I don't know, it's a bush. Humps. You see humps like this? That's indicative. I don't know this for a fact, unless you know something I don't know. But that's indicative of foundation repair. There's the clothes dryer vent right there. Okay, that's a good thing. But see the size of that guy? That's no longer acceptable. I'm gonna back up a little bit here because I have abandonment issues. You see that gable vent? Come over here. See that whirly bird? There's nothing to keep the air from getting sucked in that vent and straight out that whirly bird. It's actually a code violation. It's ventilation systems like that. It doesn't allow the ventilation to go through the attic like it should. And that's your only attic intake. I haven't seen any soffit vents. No soffit vents. Right here, we can see the chimney cap a little better, the chimney top a little better. You can see that it's messed up. We also see that we've got a cricket behind it. Some people call it a saddle, call it what you will, but that's a good thing. That's a tall old chimney, isn't it? It's windy. I don't know if you can hear the wind or not. At one time there was a brick plant. Okay, these are called shrinkage cracks right there. Shrinkage cracks. Some people call them corner pops. Call it what you will. But what happens with that is the cement, it shrinks. It's continuously drying. You will never be able to measure it, but it does. Some people could. It's a brick. It's the only part of your house that ever grows. And it continuously grows, and you'll never be able to measure it. The brick and the foundation have different thermal dynamics. So they expand and contract at different rates. While one is continuously shrinking, one's continuously expanding. And then you have these corner pops, shrinkage cracks right there. That's not a foundation problem. It's in the span of a hand. It goes that direction. That's not a foundation problem. It might be holding up a brick or two. You might want to repair that or not. But you're not repairing it to help your foundation. We got little ants coming in here. Look at all those little boogers. Woo-wee. Got some at my house. I don't know, man. We had a lot of rain. It's driving them in. It was very difficult for me to get rid of them. Coming over here. See that right there? We've got an underground soaker hose or something. Looks like somebody cut it. I haven't seen a sprinkler control. I don't think we've got one. So, probably because it looked like this wall over here, but your original planter box has been taken out. You can see the mastic sealer on the walls behind it. We got another clothes dryer vent. That one probably does all right. That's probably a bathroom vent over there. So disregard what I said about the clothes dryer vent. These are gonzo. I'm not going to edit it. So they took the brick out. They added this little knee-high fence, and then you have that mastic sealer back there. All this is going to come down unless you put it up. You might want to take it all out. I don't know. You're not paying me to decorate. And coming along here, these fence posts beyond the scope, and they don't have caps on them, so water is just, and has been, sitting down in there. I don't know if you can catch a glimpse of that. My eye can. And so water is sitting in here, rusting out the base. This is the front lawn sprinkler, front faucet. That's the one I couldn't get a hold of. Too close to the ground. Splitter on it. So we just let that go for a while. This siding, when it comes down to the house like this, the siding is supposed to be a couple inches off the roof line. Otherwise, it's going to look like it looks. It's going to do what it's been doing. It's going to be sucking the water up off of the roof and rotting the wood all along that edge. That furnace flue, excuse me, that's a water heater flue. That guy's too close to the wall. He's too close to the wall. That is what it is, but there he is, too close to the wall. Coming down, the tree should be closer to your foundation than 25 feet. this is fine over here. Over here, we got some high soil. High soil right around this corner. We have an exterior, and this goes to the other one that was floating and not GFCI protected. But these exterior receptacle outlets are supposed to have in-use covers, bubble covers. It's not GFCI protected. So that way you can plug your Christmas lights in, close the in-use cover, and then water wouldn't get in there. We got a little loose brick right here. Yeah, he's loose. Okay. Some repairs have been around here. I get it. Between your, I believe it's called the water table. Between your brick and your siding, you're supposed to have a gap. You're supposed to have a gap right in there to allow water to weep out. And then you're supposed to have weep holes for this as well to allow water, that would usually be on the front, to allow water to weep out. So the drainage plane behind these walls, I cannot confirm. I doubt there's one, but I can't confirm whether there is or is not. When you have wood mulch next to the house underneath the drip edge, okay, that's considered conducive to wood destroying insects, and we got high soil around here. And another thing that we don't have, and there's that lapping I'm talking about, is there are no rain gutters, and that includes the air conditioning unit. So the water just pours off of this right onto the condensing unit that we see over where we started. Coming on along, we're gonna go out into the front yard. This is the Parkway sidewalk. That's Bonnie. She's in all of my videos. This is a water meter. You see that dial? I don't know if you get that. The little triangular dial, right? No, it's a sprocket right there. That little sprocket thing. If that's moving, water's moving. You got water entering the house. If it's not moving, then you might have a sewer leak, but you do not have a freshwater leak. So that's very sensitive. Some people call them cheater wheels, cheater paddles. It's very sensitive. So if your water bill's pretty high, go check that. If it's moving, go find your leak. Coming along, still have high soil, high soil, high soil. These are the first drill holes I saw. Another drill hole. House has been treated. House has been treated. This is the front door. It's got a nice little lock on here. This door latch does not work. So I had to lock myself out. I had to lock that. I got a combination. Don't worry. We're going to finish this. But anyway, to keep this door closed, this guy has to be locked. That latch doesn't work like it's supposed to. Moving on along. This is sewer clean out right here. Well, I haven't noticed is a main water shutoff valve. Just haven't seen one. And usually what we like to see is a double clean out. But it looks like we got a single clean out. This is the week of the single clean outs. I've been saying that. Okay, here's another good idea. We got a Granny could trip on that. She sure could. You're gonna have to give her a hand when she's coming up. Okay, when the plumbing vent pipes, that's what that little nub up there is. It's supposed to go 6 inches above the roof covering. That's too short. Now the reason for that is so snow doesn't block it. But what are the odds? It's not right though. That's what I'm here for. And right here over the front porch, you had some on the back. Some on the back was almost worth mentioning, but right here on the front porch, you see how this is going like that? That's called sumping. It's a thing. So it should be nice and straight, especially if it's over the front door that you painted red. But anyway, it is what it is. Again, the siding's touching the house. Now usually I would say that we'd need kick-out flashing here. But it just extends right over the flower bed. It's away from the wall. It's by design. If this hadn't have been here, it wouldn't have been an issue. It's not an issue. I don't feel like it is. Okay, the yard is sculpted. It's not the best, but it's sculpted. has swales. See how this is kind of going down this way? Now on the siding here, see these ends? Those butt ends? Now there's controversy about whether they should be sealed or not, and it depends on the manufacturer, and depends on what year the manufacturer wrote the instructions, but it's generally considered that they're not supposed to be painted. Generally speaking, they're not supposed to be sealed. Now, what you are supposed to do, and this is pretty universal, is behind these butt seams, and they're supposed to be staggered. That's a really good job, huh? So maybe not the best staggering job, but behind these, they're supposed to have flashing tape. And while I can't pry that off, I can pretty much tell by looking at it and knowing the vintage, my experience. There isn't any flashing tape behind those butt seams. Then over here, this is a bathroom window. I can tell by the way it's got the finish. And we got stair-step cracks through the brick and mortar on both sides of the south side downstairs bathroom. See these humps? Okay, that looks like foundation repair. You might find out that it's not. But to me, that's indicative of foundation repair. So you want to check and find out what kind of history you have about that. And trees are kind of close, and trees should be cut back. And we got high soil. Everywhere you got the foundation repair, you got high soil. Now over here, this is where we started. This is where the gas enters the house. Right there. I'm going to have to determine how the gas piping was bonded electrically. Or it'll be unknown. But it's obviously not bonded out here. And again, this is back where we started. And that right there, I can't get close to him. And he's foraging. Not a bunch of them. That guy right there, do you see him? Right there. It's a carpenter ant. It could be an acrobat ant. Again, I can't get close enough to count nodules and see the bends in his antenna and count the segments of that. Check his thorax. But sure looks like a carpenter ant from way down here. And that doesn't surprise us.